I've been in South America, brother. I've been in South America. Maybe I hinted at this last shoot when I spoke about Botafogo and what they're doing in the Brazilian league right now, destined to lift the title. And since then, since I did my research, I decided, you know what, let me commit myself fully to South America right now, especially with Copa Libertadores and La Copa Sudamericana going on right now during the summer. I say, you know what, let me invest myself. Let me see what's going on in this region, and specifically in Copa Libertadores. It's the biggest tournament in South America, probably the second biggest club tournament outside of the Champions League itself. And there's just some amazing storylines happening here that I want to highlight alongside you and get your thoughts on. In my research, in my watching of these games, in my discoveries, I've kind of been brewing a take, man. I've been brewing a take that I've been a little scared to say, honestly, because it can be conceived as a little controversial to people who are accustomed to the tradition of this region. But I just can't help but want to express it, man, because I think something different is brewing in Copa Libertadores specifically this season.
Okay. Where are you going? What are you going to say? I'm interested. You have my attention.
Remember when Italy was on top of the world with Serie A being in they had 5 Serie A teams out of 12 total semifinalists in UEFA Cup competitions. You remember that shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I predicted that Italy wouldn't win, or an Italian team would not lift the trophy despite them having the odds in their favor in that sense. Yeah. And what ended up happening, brother? Remind the people what happened.
Yeah, no Italian team won.
Yes, sir. No Italian team won.
Absolutely.
And so that made me feel real good. And maybe I'm getting carried away with that type of prediction because 6 out of 16 teams in the round of 16 in Copa Libertadores are Brazilian. 6 out of 16. Mm-hmm. Brazil has won 4 of the last Copa Libertadores. The last time that a team that wasn't Brazilian won was in that classic Boca Juniors River Plate matchup in 2018. Since then, we've seen a Palmeiras and Flamengo duo domination happen since then. But this year, man, I've been really keeping my eye on Brazil, seeing what Botafogo is doing in first place, and keeping an eye on the rest of the teams to kind of gauge the state that they're at. And I say that all to say this, bro. I don't have a Brazilian team winning Copa Libertadores this year.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
I think we're going to see something special. We're going to revert to the beautiful times of Copa Libertadores and seeing a team outside of Brazil lift the trophy. And here's why. There are 6 teams right now involved in the round of 16. They go like this. Atlético Mineiro are playing against Palmeiras right now. So in order for one of them to live, the other must die. That immediately brings it down to 5 teams that can compete for the trophy. Palmeiras right now is most likely to go through with a 1-0 lead after the first leg. They're feeling good, and if anything, they're the Brazilian team that scares me the most right now of breaking my prediction. But we continue. Atlético Paranaense, who was in the final last year and lost, are down 3-1 to Bolivian side Bolívar, who's got a hell of a team, by the way, and I'll talk about them in a second. So that's another squad that I think will go down in this round. Internacional is currently down 2-1 against tournament favorites, I would say, River Plate, who just won the Argentine Primera División, feeling themselves. River Plate won at home 2-1 against Internacional, another Brazilian team that I predict will go out in this tournament. Fluminense is tied with Argentino Juniors right now in a matchup that I ultimately do see Fluminense win because they're going to go back home and play the second leg. But still, Argentino Juniors have a genuine shot here at shocking the world and knocking out another Brazilian team. And then lastly, Flamengo is currently up 1-0 against Olimpia after beating them at home in Brazil. Mm-hmm. Now, the thing with this is that Olimpia had the second best group stage performance out of all the teams in Copa Libertadores. They accumulated, I believe, 14 points, winning 4 games, losing 2. And then if you watch that match that they had against Flamengo, it should have ended in a tie, man. Olimpia actually had genuine chances. And this Flamengo team, I just don't truly see as a threat to win the trophy anymore because they're not competing in the league at all. They're in second place, but there's about a 12-point gap right now. And even in moments when they've had the chance to catch up, such as today, where Botafogo tied against Cruzeiro, Chiquinho Soares going out on a fucking cart due to injury. Shit. Massive moment in the Brazilian league. Flamengo with the chance to kind of gain ground and get back into the title race, loses 3-0 against Cuiabá, bro. ridiculous what I'm seeing from Flamengo, an untrustworthy side so far in the league, and I think the same will translate over to the Copa Libertadores. Maybe not in this round, but soon, man. But soon, yeah, I think Flamengo will meet their demise. Okay. And the reason that I do ultimately think Brazil won't win is because I do think we have some strong contenders that are not from Brazil that could win this tournament. River Plate looks incredible so far. Argentinos Juniors, as I said, are in a tie. Bolivar is looking amazing. Olimpia is really solid. Independiente del Valle is currently down right now, but I could see them bounce back and perhaps win their match at home. Boca Juniors is always capable of a deep run. And Atlético Nacional as well, winning 4-2 against Racing Club in their first leg, looking really solid as well. I think the contenders are really, really solid, and I think that Brazil will go down this year, brother.
What about the idea that a Brazilian team approaching a semifinal or a final appearance just turns it on, and they play against a team that's not used to playing against a Brazilian team week in, week out, right? Because that's what happened last year when what was that Argentinian team?
It was
oh man, Vélez.
Yeah.
They got fucked.
That was in quarters, I think. Yeah,
but it's because of that. I don't think they were prepared to play a Brazilian team in a in a game that really, really mattered. What is interesting, though, is I think the Brazilian teams that are losing right now, I think, are weak, right? Like Paranaense. I mean, for them to go through, it is possible. It's 3-1, and maybe it's still there, right? Maybe it is still there for them. But if you have a team like Palmeiras or Flamengo, and they're in the quarterfinals against a non-Brazilian side, that's not River Plate, because I think River Plate's a definite contender. But if it's Del Valle, if it's Deportivo Pereira, if it's Atlético Nacional, who are good teams, right? But what about the idea that a Brazilian team will just be better in those high stakes situations?
No, I don't deny those ideas at all. I completely understand those. If anything, I think this is destined to have one Brazilian team in the final, but whoever they face will not be Brazilian, and I see probably like a River Plate beating them, because I think River Plate just has a really good height that they can reach right now. But yes, I still fully expect Brazil to have teams in the semis, in the quarters, in the final. I'm not saying they're all going to lose in this round specifically, but I don't know, man. I got that nudge again, bro. I got that nudge. The same way I did with the Italians, bro. I got the same nudge with Brazilians right now. And I'm just saying, bro, if a Brazilian team ends up winning this trophy, then I don't know. I'll get the R9 haircut or something. Like,
don't do that.
No, I can't do that. I'll go to Brazil. I'll do some shit. I'll do some Brazilian related punishment. But I don't know. I feel so good about this because I'm reliant on these other teams to kind of break the tradition that we've been seeing these past few years with Brazil just dominating this tournament so far. And I think the opposite actually goes for Copa Sudamericana. I have only Brazilian teams winning that tournament. 7 out of 16 are Brazilian.
Jesus.
And in my opinion, I would love to see Botafogo win, but you still have Sao Paulo as a contender. Which, by the way, did you see that shit with the results that happened today? Santos is right now in the relegation zone in Brazil. And I just learned this today. They've never been relegated.
Never?
They're one of 3 teams in Brazil that have never been relegated.
Wow.
And they're in the relegation zone right now in 17th place, bro.
Okay. Well, they got time to get out of it.
Yeah.
They got time, but okay.
It feels like an Everton type of situation,
I was just about to say. Maybe they'll escape on the last match day or something, or hopefully before then.
Maybe next year it happens, this would be crazy for a team like Santos, bro, to be in the second div would be ridiculous in my opinion. But yes, I see a Brazilian team winning Copa Sudamericana, whoever that might be. But in Copa Libertadores, man, these games are really, really fun. You got Nacional from Uruguay in there as well, who are able to tie Boca Juniors in La Bombonera. Maybe they can do something. It's exciting so far, and it's just fun to watch. And I'll be following this as the times go by. And if you're watching the tournament, just keep in mind what I said.
Yeah,
keep in mind because
I'm going
every matchup against a Brazilian team, I'm going against them. I'm going against them, bro.